Welcome to another episode of the Mobilise Podcast. My name is Shahira and I'm a senior marketing specialist at Mobilise, and I'm here with Madalina, our UI and UX designer. We'll be talking about building a strong brand identity in the telecom sector.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
I think we can start by highlighting the importance of brand identity in this in the competitive telecom market. And I would say that brand identity is important. It's crucial because competition is fierce. Like a strong brand identity is what sets a company apart. Not only attracts new customers, but also retains the existing ones by fostering loyalty and trust.
Mm-hmm.
So it's crucial because telecom market is saturated with options and customers need a compelling reason to choose or stay with one provider over the other. But I think before we carry on too much, I think we should define what branding is and what's the importance of it. And I think the easiest way to define is the brand identity is how a company presents itself to the public. It's think of it as a personality of the company. This includes the company's name, logo, colors, design, like all form of communication and all the designs aspects.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the easier way to explain is I have an analogy which might make it easier to understand is because it's going to make it easier to visualize how various elements come together. Would be to compare it with a dish.
Okay.
It might sound a bit funny, but bear with me. It's because the dish has the ingredients and branding has the branding elements.
Mm-hmm.
So again, just as a dish is made up of ingredients like spices, vegetables, or meat, a brand is composed of various elements, which like logo, colors, typography.
Mm-hmm.
And then each element plays a crucial role in defining the overall taste or identity of the brand. And then if you move on, you have the recipe, which is the equivalent will be the brand strategy. So this will guide how the ingredients are combined, provides a structure and then a plan to make sure that everything was together fine. And then a good recipe would balance all of these ingredients, just as a strong brand strategy balances all the brand elements to communicate a clear and consistent message. And then you move on, you have the cooking method, which is the equivalent of brand execution, which is the way you cook the dish. You can bake it, you can fry it, you can steam it.
Yep.
But then this parallels on how brand is executed across different touch points like social media, packaging, advertising, and so on. And then obviously the method you choose impacts the final outcome, just as the execution of a brand impacts how it's perceived by the audience. And then you move on and you have to present it, which is the brand aesthetics.
Yeah.
So just like a well-plated dish is more appealing, the visual and emotional presentation of a brand can make it more attractive to its target audience. And how the brand is served, let's say, matters just as much as the content. And then lastly, we have the taste, which is the customer experience. This determines whether people enjoy it, similar to how the customer's experience with the brand determines its success. And then a well-prepared dish leaves a positive impression, just as a well-crafted brand creates a strong, lasting connection with its audience. So now, if you mess any of this up, this will obviously impact the branding or the company. So obviously, if you, leave some of the essential ingredients out, they might taste bland or incomplete. That's similar with the brand. If it lacks key elements, such as a strong logo or a clear messaging or, distinctive colors, it might struggle to stand out or resonate with the audience.
Yeah.
The brand could come across as a generic or forgettable, and then that just leads to a weaker customer engagement. And then again, you can take the same example for no recipe. Without a recipe, you might know the ingredients together. You might know the ingredients and then just throw them to however you handle.
Yeah.
But that will result in an unbalanced or poorly cooked dish. This is like operating without a clear strategy, without a plan. The brand's effort could be inconsistent, confusing customers and diluting the brand's identity. And this just can lead to a fragmented brand image that fails to build trust or recognition. And then for the cooking method, again, you can overcook it, undercook it. You can draw in the dish. So similarly, a poor brand execution, such as inconsistent messaging or subpar marketing campaigns, all of these can diminish the impact of the brand. So even if the brand has great elements, failing to execute them well means the brand might not connect with its target audience effectively. And then lastly, like I said, the aesthetics. Like a well-cooked dish that looks unappetizing may still be rejected by diners. A brand that lacks strong visual aesthetics or emotional appeal might fail to attract or retain customers, even if the core product or service is good. So presentation matters, and neglecting this can lead to lost opportunities or weaker market presence. So I hope this made sense. If it didn't, like to take it a bit back to our purpose of the podcast. If you want to think of it, the telecom company's brand identity as the recipe for a signature dish, just like a well-crafted dish communicates quality and flavor, a brand identity communicates reliability and innovation to the customers. So in the same way that the diners trust a dish prepared with care, customers want to feel confident that the telecom service provider is dependable, especially when it comes to critical aspects like connectivity and customer support. I've talked a lot. What about you? Why do you think it's crucial for telecom companies to have a strong brand?
Well, I would say, in my own opinion, it's crucial because a strong brand identity isn't just beneficial, it's essential. It can be the difference between a company that thrives and one that fades into obscurity, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah. What would you say are the core components of a brand identity?
The first one would be the logo and the visual designs. This is the one that's the most immediate representation of a brand that everybody sees. This is created by the logos, color scheme, typography, and the overall design style. It should be consistent, and professional visual elements make the brand recognizable and trustworthy. If you think about it, this should be immediately recognized. Like if you see a color or a logo, customers should immediately think about your company. So if I'm gonna tell you a color now, let's see if you guess it. What company I'm thinking of.
Go on.
If I'm gonna say red and white,
I would think Vodafone.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
See. But yeah.
Actually, backing that up, I have a statistic here, but according to the US Chamber of Commerce, 55% of first impressions are made by what we see. So obviously it really does, visuals and the logo are very, very important.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on from that, another important component is the brand voice and messaging, which is basically the tone and style of communication used by the brand. So a really good example is Vodafone and Voxy. So one is the sub-brand of the other, which is Voxy, which is a sub-brand. But both companies have different target audiences and different brand identities. Vodafone is a lot more for everyone, universal. So the brand identity is more universal and more focused on positioning the brand as a reliable global leader. But Voxy, on the other hand, was specifically created for young people who value and place more importance on digital connectivity, flexibility, and affordability. So Voxy caters to those needs by providing sort of endless social media packages, but also their visual identity is a lot less traditional, very distinguished red and white colours. So it's a lot more casual and relatable tone of voice as well. It also has a modern and playful fonts that they use, as well as more casual and relatable tone of voice that emphasizes the sort of fun and creativity aspect of the brand for their target audience, really.
Yeah, good example there.
Thank you.
And then the third core component, I think it would be brand values and mission. These are basically the pillars, the foundational principles, and the long-term goals of a company. They should guide the company's actions and communicate what it stands for, such as could be commitments to customer service or innovation or sustainability. Like brand values and mission should be clearly communicated with customers and also reflected in everything that the company does.
Yeah, absolutely.
So building up on that, a strong brand identity creates a powerful and lasting impression that differentiates a company from its competitors. This differentiation goes beyond just the visual aesthetics, though. It encompasses the brand's values, reputation, emotional appeal, overall market presence, and it's making it a crucial factor in gaining and maintaining a competitive advantage. What do you think about this?
Well, I think that a strong brand identity can definitely create a distinct image in the customer's mind. But not only that, it can also turn customers into brand advocates, so which can then create more longevity for the brand. So according to this one statistic, 77% of marketing leaders say that a strong brand is critical to their growth plans. And some really good examples of strong brand identity is T-Mobile and Orange. So they're very consistent with their strong and easily recognizable brands across all their markets and channels, which can create a lot more trust with their customers.
Yeah, because if you're not consistent, then the customers will think that, oh, this company is a bit chaotic or not disorganized.
Yeah.
So why should I trust them?
Exactly, yeah.
Right. Should we
move on?
Talk about how do we build a strong brand and where do we start?
Well, first off, I would say the main and first step to actually building a strong brand identity is through market research and analysis, which is, I would say, one of the more important, steps. You really need to understand your target audience, their needs, and how your competitors are positioning themselves, which is really important if you want to be able to differentiate your brand from the competition. For example, knowing that younger customers actually value high-speed data for streaming can really help shape your brand's offerings and messaging.
Yeah, that's like the foundation of the brand.
Exactly.
If you don't have a good foundation, everything else will just
crumble apart. And then the second step, I would say, is really defining your brand's mission, vision, and values. So it's really important to be able to clearly state what your brand stands for and aims to achieve. This could include providing excellent customer service, leading in technological innovation, or really ensuring reliable connectivity, especially in the telecoms industry where, your connectivity and speed is also a massive impact on customer experience. But your mission and values should really reflect what you believe in and then guide your business decisions.
And this should also be made public and
very
posted,
exactly.
So people can resonate with them and understand why you do what you do.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah. Another step is by creating a unique brand voice and your messaging. So it's really important that you're consistent in how you communicate with your customers, whether through adverts, social media, customer support. You need to be able to build recognition and trust through that. So you need to be able to decide whether your brand voice will be friendly or authoritative, humorous, or a mix that would best represent your brand.
Mm-hmm. And then you design a memorable visual identity.
Exactly.
We touched on this again, but this would include the logo, the color scheme, all the design elements, and these should all be consistent across all the platforms so that the customers can easily recognize them. And overall, the visual identity should evoke the feelings and values your brand stands for. Like these are shaped around what the mission, vision, and values were.
Exactly, yeah.
And then once you do all these, you start implementing it across all the channels. And you you make sure they're all consistent across all the platforms, be it websites, social media, physical stores if you have any, customer service in general. And this uniformity would help reinforce the brand image in customers' mind. So it's important that whether you're a customer visiting a website or you see an advert or you're calling customer service, it's very important that the experience and the message are the same. So
exactly. Consistency is key.
It is key.
Especially keeping it consistent across all of those. But actually, consistent branding can really significantly impact your revenue. Businesses tend to experience an increase in revenue, or in this case, like 23%, through cohesive and recognizable brand identities, actually. It's also very important that if you are trying to target a wider audience, you leverage digital media or digital marketing and social media, since they allow you to really engage with the audience and reinforce your brand values regularly, like you've said before, making sure that your brand voice or mission, anything, is still being communicated through all of these channels.
You can also use that to have updates or just use it for customer support.
Exactly.
Or you can even create a community.
Exactly, which is also very important.
It's so powerful. You have to use it.
Exactly. It's really important, especially if that's where your target audience spends their time. So you cultivate that community to be able to keep mentioning your brand, and that consumer awareness that then gets spread through social media. And not only that, but also customer experience and just brand identity in general. It's really important, I think one of the most important parts as well, that every interaction that a customer has with your brand should really reflect your brand identity, from the service that you provide to the way that your staff communicates with them.
Customer experience is a big one as well.
Massive. It's key. If they end up experiencing a really bad interaction with your customer service through social media, especially, like it's where a lot of...
you can have the best brand and the best product, but if your customer needs support because they can't connect to
can't even use their data,
they can't use the data, then all that customer support has ruined everything.
Exactly.
So customer experience is vital.
Very. So moving on from that, and we'll talk about measuring and then evolving the brand identity, actually. So main ways that you could track your brand performance is, one, through regular brand consistency analysis, which this assesses how consistently your brand identity is being applied across all the touch points, which includes the visual elements, messaging, customer interactions. It's very important they are actually being monitored rather than being left to their own devices. Another one is social media monitoring and sentiment analysis, which involves analysing how your brand is being discussed on social media and whether the conversations actually align with your brand identity. And another is brand perception surveys. So that's where you can ask questions related to brand attributes, values, emotional associations.
And then you have all these other metrics that you can use as well, like customer satisfaction scores or net promoter scores.
That's it.
And so they can all help you to assess the effectiveness of your brand identity.
Exactly.
And then you adapt. If it doesn't go well, you adapt your branding. But then, in general, evolving your brand identity, you should adapt to market changes.
Absolutely.
So, as the market changes, so should your brand. Adapting ensures that a brand stays relevant and competitive and fresh. However, making a drastic change without the necessary noise to inform everyone could harm a brand and their custom brand perception. Yeah. So you should be very careful.
Yeah, actually, one example of that is BT. So they've gone through multiple rebranding efforts, and most notably in 2020 when it introduced a brand new logo, which the change aligned with BT's strategy to present itself as a more modern and innovative company focused on digital services and technology beyond its traditional telecom roots. But it's massively evolved from what it used to be.
Brand messaging will be another good example because as telecom technology evolves, companies often need to shift their messaging to emphasize the new services as well. Yeah. So like the 5G, the fiber optic broadband,
and then IoT as well.
Yeah. AT&T has continuously updated its brand messaging to reflect its transition from a traditional telecom provider to a more modern tech and media company.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, good examples.
Yeah. Well, that's all that we have for today. Thank you very much, Madalina, for joining.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you to our listeners. Don't forget to check out more episodes of the Mobilise Podcast. And you can find us on our website, YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Please stay tuned for our next episode. Thank you.